And yet here you are with the same size team, the same size you, the same 24 hours in a day.
Welcome to the New Talent Playbook Podcast, your go-to resource for building exceptional teams and thriving businesses. Each episode delivers actionable insights on harnessing offshore talent, integrating innovative technology, cultivating a vibrant company culture, and attracting and retaining top performers. Subscribe now to never miss an episode. For more resources, visit thenewtalentplaybookpodcast.com, where you can download this episode's free workbook designed to help you apply today's insight to your business. And now, here's your host, Rob Levin.
Welcome to this solo episode of the New Talent Playbook podcast. So anybody who's been listening for a while has heard me talk about, and if you read the book, it's in the book as well, how the pace of change is accelerating business. You've heard that. Other people are saying it. Okay, we got that. What I want to impress upon everybody today is that it's not just that there's an incredible pace of change in business today. It's that there are so many things that are changing right now, all at once. And the stakes for dealing with those changes have never been higher. What are some examples? Well, buyers are buying differently. I don't care if you're in B2B or B2C. This has changed dramatically in the past 6 years and even in the past couple of years. And there's a lot of data on how the B2B buying process has changed over the past couple of years, and it continues to change. So, of course, how you market and sell to these companies is changing. We were talking just a couple of weeks ago here at Work Better Now about how things have dramatically changed in how we sell to our clients over the past 12 months. So that's your buyers, your talent, your employees, how you attract and retain and manage them. It has changed dramatically also over the past 6 years. I'm thinking since the pandemic. I recorded another podcast with Jeff Hyman, who's one of the world's experts in hiring. And he said, Rob, I've seen more change in the past 6 months than I have in the past 10 years in terms of how the hiring process has changed. That's from a world-leading expert. 6 months he's talking about. Of course, laws and regulations, federal, state, maybe even local, are changing all the time. If you're one of those companies affected by tariffs, I don't have to tell you about that. And then there's so many other things, but AI and other technologies is underneath a lot of these changes. In addition to just the fact that AI itself is changing, it's driving a lot of the changes, and AI itself is changing. And yet here you are with the same size team, the same size you, the same 24 hours in a day. And I go back to something I did mention in the New Talent Playbook book, when I met Gil Moore, a legend in the media business close to 20 years ago. And he told me that one of the biggest keys to success in business is the ability to harness that change in your business. Now, this was, 2006, 2008. Of course, there was plenty of pace of change back then, but right now it's probably 10x that, or maybe even greater. So Gil was certainly onto something that always stuck with me, that you need to harness change. And you got to remember that change is happening whether you harness it or not. Or maybe a way to think about it is you can either harness it or you can get harnessed. And it's not so much like, well, you know what, my competitor, he or she is way behind where I am with change. It doesn't matter, because what's going to happen is, whether it's the competitor that's across town from you, or it's going to be somebody else or a new entrant, your margins are going to get compressed. Your sales will start to decline if you don't harness change. Your profits will go down. And speed is important here. And that's a big message that I want to deliver here. So look, this is the New Talent Playbook. Enough about strategy. How does talent play into this? Well, you got to remember that the talent equation, the talent pool in your business includes you as the CEO, right? And again, longtime listeners, you're familiar with the term that I use quite a bit, unique ability, which I borrow from Dan Sullivan in Strategic Coach. Your unique ability is a combination of three things. It's something that you uniquely do, meaning others cannot do this nearly as well as you do. It's something that drives immense value for your company, and it's something that you enjoy to do. That's not exactly Dan's definition. That's kind of my take on it.
The reviews are in, and leaders are calling Rob Levin's new book a game changer. The New Talent Playbook, the ultimate guide to building your dream team, is now available. And it's your roadmap to winning the war for talent and scaling with total confidence. Don't just take our word for it. Order your copy today and see why it's a must-read for every SMB leader. Find it on Amazon.com or learn more at thenewtalentplaybook.com.
And more often than not, I would say 95% of the time, the strategy of your business and dealing with change is a big part of strategy that usually falls within the unique ability of the CEO business owner, right? Because think about it this way. If you are not looking at the change in your business and strategy in your business, then who is? And strategy needs to be reviewed not every 2 years, not every year, probably on a quarterly basis because things are changing that fast. And if you are not thinking about the pace of change in your business, then who is, right? And it's probably several people that do need to get involved. We'll get to that in a second. But somebody needs to be thinking about this from a macro level that really understands the market. So, of course, to do that, you need that time to think about strategy. You know, one of the things that Dan says about unique ability, Dan Sullivan, is that you should be spending 80% of your time in your unique ability, right? Whereas the reality is most studies show that most executives are spending 15 to 20% of their time on what we would consider high payoff activities. Not that urgent stuff that's kind of constantly coming across your desk, but that stuff that really moves the needle, that stuff that delivers compounding returns for your business. Strategy is definitely one of those things. So you certainly need to think about, okay, what's the strategy? What's changing? What's the new strategy in my business? What are the different pieces that are changing? And then think about, well, what are the capabilities that we need as a company to deal with those changes? Do we have those capabilities internally? Or maybe you need to hire a consultant to help you bring in those capabilities. Maybe you need to make a full-time hire that has those capabilities, right? Or maybe you can upskill. Maybe you can upskill. If for those of you, again, longtime listeners, you know I'm a big fan of upskilling. Upskilling is when you train your team. That could come from internal resources or external resources. Think AI, think about all of the training that all of the LLMs are offering. You can upskill somebody on your team and have them bring in that capability to your business. What's an example? Well, we talked about how buyers are changing and the way you need to market is changing. So there's a lot of technologies out there. I believe one that we're using is something called Clay. I have not used it personally. I've only heard about it, which can really change how you can laser in on a target market in your business, right? Now you have to know how to use that. You then have to know how to not only use the data, but how to engage these people. And maybe your current marketing person doesn't have that capability. Again, you can hire a consultant. You can work with a fractional CMO. You can hire a new director of marketing, or maybe you can upskill. You can, send that person to HubSpot's annual conference, which I think they've just renamed to Outbound this year. You can have them take a course on marketing with AI, et cetera. Whatever it is, let's recap what you need to do here. First, you need to understand that there's a ton of change happening and it's happening on so many different fronts. And the speed in which you react, you don't have to overreact, but the speed in which you react is going to certainly help impact your revenue and your revenue growth and your margins, not to mention how you'll do competitively. You then need time to think about all of these changes, decide what capabilities do we now need in the company, and then where are those capabilities going to come from? And they're going to come from consultant, a full-time hire, upskilling a current member. But the most important thing, I think, starts with you. You're part of the talent equation in your company, making sure that you have the time to focus on these unique abilities, these things that are really going to generate compounding returns for your business all around this concept of change in business. Hope this helps, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening. The New Talent Playbook podcast is brought to you by Work Better Now. Don't forget to review, subscribe, and download the workbook for this episode at the link below. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on LinkedIn at the New Talent Playbook Podcast or visit thenewtalentplaybookpodcast.com.